Hey YouTube, this is Pecktec, and I wanted to continue my series, the Show Me What You Got series. I'm probably going to leave that name for this week, although I've gotten a lot of great suggestions from you folks, and feel free to add your input down below. I'm taking it all into consideration. Next week, I'm going to kind of start to normalize this series, maybe not do so many of them in a week. I'll only get 3 of these out this week. This is the second one. And I'll do a third one just to kind of get things caught up a little bit. I'm going to streamline this a little bit. I'm not going to do any fancy intro or anything like that. We're just going to jump right into the aquariums and really put the emphasis on the people that submit the aquariums. All these terrific submissions, and I just want to show them all to you right now. Okay, so my first one that I'm going to show you now is from another YouTuber. His name's Toby Creates, and he's actually a 13-year-old who has a YouTube channel and has some really neat looking tanks. I made a video not too long ago called Fish Aren't Toys or something like that, where I basically said, you shouldn't give your children tanks. And just to walk back a little bit of what I said, let me explain. I'll be 49 at the end of this summer, and I think I've kind of lost some perspective as far as like how old you have to be to do certain things. And while I still stand behind the fact that very young children maybe shouldn't have aquariums, certainly these young preteens and kids like that, they can absolutely do some marvelous things. I mean, they're really, and Toby's a great example of that. I'm going to have a link to his channel in the description, and he'll be one of the circles at the end of the video if you want to click a circle. I noticed he was coming up, one of his older emails. He's actually sent me an updated email, and I went and I fished that out. But he was coming up in one of the emails to show today, so I wanted to go ahead and get him out there. Now he sent me some updated photos as well. So what we're looking at here, I think he said this is a 2.2 gallon tank, and it's a high-tech tank. What high-tech means really is that you're adding CO2, and that's about it. I was very confused by this term at first. I was like, oh, fancy lights, fancy heater, and interesting filters and stuff like that. No. High tech is simply adding CO2, and looking at it very closely, this looks like a DIY CO2 product. Of course, as Toby explains, you can see the full setup for this tank on his video and see exactly how he did it. And this is a photo from probably pretty soon after he set up the tank. A nice little close-up of one of his tank's inhabitants. And then, I believe, yeah. And then these are the newer photos, so you can kind of see the growth. CO2 really helps add growth to these tanks. And you can see it's quite a bit of growth there. What a cool looking little tank. It's a little tiny rimless tank there. Looks good, Toby. Good job. Alright, so he has some other stuff too. He said he got a fluval flex and had a big crack in it. I probably would have sent it back. I don't know if he explains why he didn't do that. So he decided to use the tank anyway, but what he did is actually something I'm considering myself for my fluval flex back there, is turn it into a paludarium. He used the existing filter system, and he turned it into a really neat paludarium, and this actually makes me really want to do the same. So I don't know. I might have to try that sometime in the near future. I actually just got some exciting news for my channel. I'll disclose that kind of later. I want to make sure it really happens before I do talk about it too much, but there's a chance I might be doing a fairly advanced paludarium very soon. Uh, oh, Toby says some more nice things about my channel and stuff. Thank you very much, Toby. You're kind of my feature today. Uh, like I said before, there'll be links down below if you'd like to see more from him. All right, so going back into the tank submissions. As you can see, there are so many of these things. I'm getting all the way down to the flags here. Okay, here we have one from Neil. Neil did another one of these with a sculpture inside, which looks really neat. It looks like some pencil fish there. I've recently gotten some pencil fish, and I think they're really neat. And some tiny guppies and stuff. Let's see. Not a lot of detail in the tank, but that's fine. Really neat tank. I love the. He's got a little. It looks like Cerro stone over here in the corner. I love that rock. I haven't had a chance to use it. It's really heavy, so it's kind of expensive to purchase that particular one. Yeah, neat, very mysterious looking aquarium. I like it. All right, and here's another one from Vicky. Vicky has an Instagram. Yarn Lady 886 would like a critique. Okay, 20-gallon Planet tank, no CO2. Use aquarium co-op Easy Green. That's a fertilizer. A bunch of mutt guppies breeding proficiently. Some shrimp and a bunch of snails. Okay, let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's a neat little tank. Jump in a little closer here and kind of pan through it. Alright. Hey, she's doing, looks like that fertilizer's really working out for you. Everything looks nice and healthy in there. That's a cool little jungly tank. I like the mixture of the different types of plants and the different the different leaf types and the different colors and everything. It looks really neat. This one looks like it's kind of grown in a little bit too. I imagine this is the kind of thing you'll come back to in like a year, and if you're able to keep it up, it's just going to be a complete jungle. Really, really great, Yarn Lady. Thanks, Vicky. I appreciate it. Okay, here's another one from Austin. And Austin, bit of a show-off and evaluation. No notable social media here. We'll have some pics of my tanks and my betta. And this looks to be a Fluval Spec 5-gallon. Of course, I know this tank very well. And that's a really neat. That's a really neat layout. You'll notice he's got kind of the 2/3 thing going, where you got 2/3 with like a lot of elements in, and then the last third is sort of empty. And that's it's actually kind of one of those design things that they teach you. That rule of thirds. You can leave that, if you leave one of those thirds kind of a little bit more empty, it really adds to the visual interest of a tank. And looking at this sort of looks like it's like fresh after it's set up. Let's see. I don't see a lot of difference between these two photos, other than that one's a little bit better exposed. Okay. He goes on to give some details about his tank. He doesn't use CO2. I use Fluval Grow Nutrient, Seachem Excel. 6 hours of light a day. Some of his plants aren't doing too well, he says. Yeah, that happens sometimes. He's got a Galaxy Koi Beta George because he's so curious, and one zebra nerite snail. And he expresses in this email he was surprised at the difference of his beta. So over the course of time, he changed from this to this. And this is something called the marble gene. So at first, they'll come out looking really interesting and marbly, but eventually their genetics will settle in on a particular color, and they will gradually change to like a more solid color. Somewhat less interesting than before. And this upsets a lot of people because they they bought their betta because they want it to be this kind of like really unique koi-like pattern, and then it sort of subtly changes into something else. Still a really beautiful fish, of course, but not the same fish. Do you hear the train a coming? Okay, the next person we have here is Jerrod Buyer, and he's got a 40-gallon breeder, and here's some details on some of the stuff he's got in here. Looks like it's really well planted. He's got a lot of different things going on in there. And yeah, he talks about a lily that he thought had died. That's happened to me. Same things happen to me. They kind of come up and then they go away, and then they come up and they go away. And his livestock for this tank. Okay. And let's take a look at the tank itself. Wow, that's a really neat looking aquarium. I'm going to zoom in and just kind of like pan through the side of it here. Really pretty fish in there too. I love those guys. That's great. Really nice mix of plants. You'll hear me saying over and over again how much I like the different textures and colors of these different plants that are there. But to me, that just really makes it a fun, interesting thing. I like the way your substrate's kind of a mix too. Kind of a mix of the dark with like some other gravels and stuff. Looks like he's got the little glass CO2 checker in it, and I'm not sure if that's just that's probably a and I wonder if that's a surface skimmer there in the corner. Really cool, 40 gallons too, so that's pretty deep. Looks like he's got the plants pretty close, like his middle ground plants are pretty far up. That means that there's a lot of space in there for the fish to hide. Visually, it's a really, really neat looking aquarium. I really like that. Great job. Okay, here's another one. They say they're a big fan. I appreciate that. Thank you. And they have a YouTube channel as well, Dylan's Little Hobbies. And I'll have to check that out. I admit I haven't looked yet. When these emails started coming in, I just started shuffling them off into a folder and stuff. They have a shell dweller megaflex with Anubis, Dragonstone, and Jungle Val in the back. Wow. I bet that's a very popular video. My megaflex videos are much more popular than almost anything else that I do. I'm going to go ahead and download some of these pictures here. So in my initial video for Show Me Your Tanks, I didn't say, hey, send me like one good picture or anything like that. And so people would send me lots and lots of photos, which is fine. But I want to give, I want to be able to show a lot of different people's things. So, try to send me just a couple of your most favorite photos. Wow, what a cool idea for Megaflex as a shell dweller tank, because it's nice and kind of shallow. They don't need it to be a really deep tank. A lot of surface area width-wise too. That looks really neat. I like the Dragonstone in there. Looks like he's got I'm not sure if that's a Flex 15 or a 9 also. There's some of his shelly shells. Looks like he's got a little white cory cat, or what do you call that? Albino cory cat, I guess. And the shellies. Let's get a little closer and look at them. Oh yeah. Cute little fish. What a great idea. Megaflex. Shell Dweller Megaflex. I should probably rip mine down and do that. Very, very interesting. Thank you so much. All right, this next tank is from Puga. I'm not actually sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. That's the best I can do. We got a 20 high Aqueon with a hang on the back filter, and there's some more details about the inhabitants and how he keeps it. A lot of people provided me with a lot of details about their tanks and stuff, which is nice. Looks Looks very, very clean in there. Very, very clean. I always go, oh, is that a brand new tank? I don't know. It could be. Well, usually the telltale sign of a brand new tank is like nothing's migrated. Like I know this plant in particular. This looks like Crypt Parv, and they creep really slow. And things like and this plant here, and this plant here, this red plant. I know they grow. They grow straight up. Oh wow, that looks almost just like that Endler that I have. I'm not sure if that's an Endler or a fancy guppy of some sort, but yeah, some Cirro stone again. Very cool stone. I wish I could afford it. I could probably buy some, but it's so heavy. It's so much heavier than Dragonstone. It's like not a very good bargain. Looks like he's got a little yellow shrimp on there too. Cool tank. Let's see. We got other stuff here too. 5.5 gallon. Fluval stratum, corner sponge filter behind pearlweed. Oxidator with golden, black, yellow neons. Okay. Let's pull in close and kind of pan it through. Neat. See, this is a really nice, simple aquarium. Easy to set up. Like if you're a beginner, setting up these little planted tanks like that, like if you're a beginner with planted tanks, let me put it that way, something really simple like that really works. Let's see. And don't be afraid of using a sponge filter or anything too. Sponge filters work great. What do we have here? 5-gallon lava rock silicone volcano with sponge filter hidden behind the mound. Plyomos tank with wall in the works and yellow neon shrimps. Huh. Moss is really interesting. I love the little yellow shrimp too. I've got some orange shrimp, which are, almost the same, but they're orange. And I'm really, really enjoying those things. I've had cherry shrimp for so long that it's nice to kind of have a different color. Oh, and there's the stand. And a beautiful, beautiful young child watching them, which is great. It's really cool to share that hobby with your kids. Those look great. I like the way you've got them displayed like that. It's so nice. It seems now a critique might be like it seems like it'd be really hard to get in there and maintain it, but I'm sure you've got that figured out somehow. I'm always real apprehensive about putting a tank under another tank like that. One, but for the weight, but these are 5 gallons you said, and that's a 20-gallon, which actually isn't that heavy in comparison to other things. But like being able to reach down in there, like my big thick hands and stuff, they can't get in those narrow gaps. And I've tried to do this before, where I've set up a tank and couldn't get to it very well, and it kind of ended up being a pain. But that's a cool picture. That's a cool picture and a sweet little girl. Thanks for sending it. Okay, and what I think will be our last one of today is going to be Matthew Vincent, and he's got a Flex 57 liter, which I believe is 15 gallons to you and me, in the U.S. That is, and let's see. He's got 7 Endler guppies. Endlers and guppies are actually 2 separate things. And 1 normal guppy for Amano Shrimp. Cheers, Matt from the UK. Okay. The Endlers and guppies look very similar, act very similar, but I believe technically they are different. They're different types of fish. Oh, and he's got the Starship Enterprise crash landed in there. I always wondered what happened to that ship. Actually, I think Con blew it up, right? Really nice, simple aquascape. It looks like it looks great. I really enjoy those. There's a little Amano Shrimp. I'll tell you what, Amano Shrimp will make short work of any algae problems that you have, and go a long way towards keeping your tank healthy and less frustrating. Beautiful little inler there. Yeah, that's a neat tank, and that's the kind of keeping it simple like that makes it more fun. And as these things grow, be sure that. Oh yeah, okay. So if you look right here, this is something interesting that you can do. Uh, See how the rhizome, and that's the stemmy part of that right there in the middle between those two lower leaves. That's the rhizome. It's sort of a stem on the plant. You want to make sure that's above the substrate, just like they've done here. But you can put the roots direct. Those roots, if you were to attach this to like that rock or wood or something like that, those roots will find their way into the substrate. But you can also just plant it, and it'll grow right along the surface, and go ahead and put those in there. You can even throw a root tab underneath, and it'll really give that plant a boost. And that's not something you think about a lot with anubias. In fact, you want to keep the nutrient level kind of down, and you want to keep it down away from the light too, if you can help it, to kind of keep from having undue algae problems, because they tend to grow really, really slowly. This plant is very beautiful too. I'm not sure what it is, like off the top of my head, but that looks really, really nice. But that looks really, really nice too. Very cool little simple tank. Thanks, I really appreciate it, Matt. And folks, I think that I'm going to just wrap it up right there today. I'm trying to keep these simple and quick, and just kind of run through them. And not a lot of people are actually watching these videos, but I've got a lot of positive feedback that people enjoy seeing other people's tanks, and kind of giving you ideas and inspiration. I am working on a more traditional Pecktec video that has been very labor intensive, and I'm going to cut this short. I'm going to go work on that now, so you'll have something else to see on Sunday. I do plan on doing one more of these videos. I might shoot it tomorrow and release it Friday. I like to at least give a kind of a day gap. My plan initially this week was to do one of these every single day, but it felt like maybe that was too much. Feel free to let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Don't forget, if you'd like to send a tank, feel free. It will probably be a while before I get to you. I considered also doing like a real blowout, just like a full hour of just kind of going through all these tanks, and I don't know if that would be met with ridicule, or if anybody would even watch that. Like, the average view length on some of these is not even half the video, so I don't want to make things that people are like completely uninterested in. But really, I guess even if a very small percentage of you really, really liked that, I would be happy to kind of blow through these and at least make a couple of longer ones. My goal later on is this to be like maybe every other week. I'd kind of do a video like this, but I got so many initial submissions, and I feel bad just kind of picking and choosing through them, that I'd really like to just try to do as many as possible and just get caught up, and then maybe it'll be kind of an ongoing series. If you'd like to submit, you've already probably seen the information as I had it streaming as I talked, but you can send me one great photograph, or maybe a couple of photographs, but not a photo gallery full of lots and lots of stuff. I'll also take like short videos and stuff like that too. Make sure it's really your best effort for a photograph too. Not crooked and with spots and stuff. Clean up the tank, make it look really nice. I'm going to show it to a lot of people, so make it look really pretty. Take a nice picture, and I'll put it up on here for everyone to see. But now I'm off. I've got a really challenging video to make this week, and I need to quit this so I can work on that. And I'll be doing that now. So until next time, follow your bliss, keep a clean tank, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.